maybe create like generalities for different situations. So for example, you don't really need 100 different things to manage 100 different shit tests. You only need 2 lines, and the 2 lines are makes it more attainable and cool, or yeah, with like a smile. You don't really need too much other than that. You like any kind of shit test is just like, I mean, I have like 100 responses to different shit tests, but to be honest, you don't really need them. They just are unnecessary. They like, why do you need to hold 100 canned lines of like how to pass shit tests in your head? It just doesn't make sense. So maybe like the best way to do it is like find like generalities, like find, oh, so girls will say something along these lines, or say something along these lines, or say something along these lines. And then based on whatever like along the lines they say, you can have like a general response for all those things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Here, do you want to start working this out with me? Maybe we can make like a group flow chart. Do you want to try that out? Oh, that's actually badass. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
That way we can like work on it together.
I like making sort of logical things like that, like a flow chart.
Here, a group flow chart. I bet you there's a Google app for that. I'll look into that. Ask my friend John about it. I'll see what he says. There has to be something like that. Then we can start going down the line of like, hey, and then make a bunch of different ones. So you have to come up with your own positive energy and keep resolute and keep flipping what she's saying into a joke. But if you don't have the energy or the wall to put up against it, that might not happen. But also too, make sure it's not you causing it, because maybe you came up in a very ungrounded way.
So I'm trying to find like the balance, right? If they balance between persistence and, well, if they all want me to fuck off, I'm just going to fuck off eventually.
Well, so my response is pretty like straightforward. So if a girl says fuck off, usually I'm like, dude, there's no chance that I'm in the wrong. And so I let that show on my face. Like I kind of look at her like, what the fuck? Like I kind of give her a look like, why are you being weird? And then I go, gladly, and I walk off.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, dude, I just don't deal with it too much. But the way you deal with it, if you wanted to flip it, is you'd have to keep funny, calm, and cool under the pressure, and make sure that you still have that high energy, that good energy. Because if you have like really good energy and you're building to the frame, and you can somehow also not take a combative frame where you build a we frame, like we're building towards this kind of a frame, that's the way we do it. So let's actually work on it now, because I don't have a good response for like trying to flip them, because I honestly, every time I get that, I was just like, I'm like, I would not want to talk to this girl anyways. But let's come up with a hypothetical. So girl says fuck off. What could we say? We say,
I was thinking saying, oh, you're so nice, or like, oh, thank you.
Well, see, you're building rapport through tone. That's not like, hey, that's so nice. Do you see that? Like now it's supplicating. You actually have to punch back a little bit like cocky, because unless you do that, it's actually gonna cue her to punch harder, because you're gonna come across disingenuous. So anything less than genuine is not gonna hit right. So you have to make sure you're breaking rapport the tone. So like, hey, not, hey, that's so nice. Hey, you're such a sweetheart. Ah, such a sweetheart. You can say it like that, but you'd have to really hit on the right notes. Literally, you have to look non-reactionary. So when she says fuck off, honestly, you need to take a pause and just stare at her in a cocky, fun, free way. Like a cocky free way is actually the best way. So the way that I do it is not as good for optimization, because now I'm creating combative frame. So we want to create a we frame. So the way to do that is like look at her in a cocky way. And you could be like, what, too handsome? And you say it in a cocky way, or you could be like, what? You scared of gorgeous? Or what else? What, am I that intimidating? Those are really cocky, but you have to say it in the right way, and you have to also set the beat. So she's gonna say fuck off in a very angry tone. So you gotta like kind of hold it. And then what the girl might do too is sometimes I've noticed is they'll double down and then scream fuck off, and they scream fuck off.
Yeah.
That's like, all right, so their emotions are so bottled up and like coiled up. It's like, it's a tough thing. You have to almost unspring that and make her forget about whatever she's mad at. So this is what sucks about this situation. The girl's mad, but it's not because of you. It's because of something else. So she's displacing the anger because she doesn't know where the anger comes from. And then you come along. So now you're a punching bag for that emotion. So she needs something to displace that emotion on. And you're an easy target because you're a stranger. She's never going to see you again. There's no consequences to being a shithead to you. So what do you have to do? You have to like displace the anger and put it somewhere else. Or you have to change your emotions by having a stronger emotion. I like, honestly, what it would do is like, all right, so this thing that Tony Robbins does where he talks about the guy's shoes being red. And what we could do is like this. So You know when the guy's crying in the documentary and he goes, "Why are your shoes so red?" He's like, "Your shoes, they're red." And the guy starts laughing. He's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like something like that, where you just like kind of shock him. Maybe we can like go with the left. Maybe so like such an offhanded weird comment that threw off, but kind of humorous. So what could we say? Go along the lines of, please don't scream at me. I'm a child of divorce. What do you think of that?
What was the line? I'm a child of divorce.
Don't scream at me.
Please don't scream at me.
Yeah, please don't scream at me. I'm a child of divorce. I'm a child of divorce. Make sure that you say it in the right tone. So like here, and here,
a cocky tone for this?
Yeah, but do this too. So we're not trying to say lines either. We're trying to say the idea underneath the line. So don't try to say it exactly the same way I did. Just say the idea, because if you try to say it exactly the way I did, it will come across canned. But if instead if you say the idea of the line, it'll come across more authentic. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, try that. So here, try to say it with the underlying tone of what you're gonna say. And then what we'll do is like here, try to repeat it back to me.
Okay. Please don't scream at me. I'm a child of divorce.
Now add more cocky to it, more cocky energy. Like think like smug, like cocky smile. Like actually like try to be like on the shit, like try to put on the shit through your tone.
Please don't scream at me. I'm a child of divorce.
Actually, that might actually be bad. Can you say dead? Actually, try saying a deadpan, like humorous deadpan. Because we're trying
Please
to
don't scream at me. I'm a child of divorce.
That actually might work. But then immediately after doing it, that line like that, you have to show a lot more personality. But we're trying to shock them out of their negative mood. So it's actually a great line to start off with. Like that, I think that actually be. I'm gonna feel. Well, I haven't gotten that line in a while. I don't think I've had that line in about a year. I did cause it once though. So me and Avery were doing this thing where we're wearing cowboy hats and we went out shirtless, and him and me are both we're out of shape at the time. And we're walking up to girls and we're trying to see like how much like, you know, the looks thing really matters. And we had really good results. And then I accidentally approached this girl and I was going down the line and I was like saying different lines back to back. And then I was like, because I was reading off cowboy pickup lines off to her, and she's laughing and she's like, "Oh, here, let me give you some." And I'm like, and instead of like letting her do it, I went like this, went shh, like that on her lips. And she got so pissed off, she started screaming, "Fuck off." I did get that time, but I kind of caused that. I was kind of like, I thought it was funny to do. Here. Yeah. Try the line out. I'm gonna try it out too. Next time I get it, I'm gonna say that. I'm actually gonna write it down here. So I'm a child, fuck off.
Please don't scream at me. I'm a child of divorce. Like really robotic like that.
Yeah.
Should I have like a really blank expression too? So like fully robot, no smile.
I think it'd make it even more funny. See, all right, there's gonna be one of two ways we can say this where it's gonna work. So it's either gonna be the way that I would naturally say it, which is gonna be like kind of cocky, kind of like charismatic. I think for you though, we need to shoot like, I think maybe shooting this way could like knock them out of it and like kind of be a good emotion state changer. We're going to try it out though. So we'll try it out both ways and we'll see which way works. So we'll kind of field test this a bit. Are you alcoholic? I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm fucking with you. If they have kombucha, I'll take it. Yeah, give me a few and I'll Venmo you. Okay, sweet. Okay, so here, I was actually gonna go down the line with these can lines too. So I liked it that, what's his fucking name? I liked it that we had Sam come in, and Sam brought up the fact that every field report, he would write down all of his canned lines and everything he did that was funny throughout the night. I think we should start doing the same thing too. So I started doing it. Every time I come with the canned line, I always put it in my phone or I put it on my laptop. So when you told me that, when we just came with that line, I just wrote it down.
What's some of your best lines?
My best lines? All right. Yeah, here's some of my best ones. So these are the ones I came up with over the past couple months. because I've been trying to come up with certain lines and that, or certain situations where I couldn't handle them. And I was like, okay, so how do I respond to this? How do I respond to this? I didn't have like a proper response. So unless I was in the zone, I wouldn't deal with it. But now like I want to create lines so that even when I was out of the zone, I could handle the situations. You aren't my type. Oh, so you aren't my type. And my response is your type isn't cool and handsome. And then if they say something along the lines of no, like you're ugly or something like that, and then be like, what, are you blind? And you can do like, you can say along those lines, like be like, so you're blind. And you can like fuck with her and be like, how many fingers am I holding up? And you can start fucking with her that way and switch it around. But you have to say it with the right tone underneath, or else it's not gonna hit right. So yeah, it's a fun, cocky, fun, like, so what? Your type isn't cool and handsome? Like that.
What about your openers? Like, what for me is like I kind of use the same opener all the time. It's like, oh, I just love your outfit, kind of thing. And then, because remember Julian was saying like the opener does not matter as long as they like have you get their attention.
It doesn't matter because like for most guys, the problem is that they're not, their problem isn't that they are, I don't know, that they're not saying the right things. The problem is that they can't approach. So what he's talking about is taking the pressure off yourself so you can approach. But I take more Todd's philosophy, and I think Todd understands this a little better than him. There's definitely things that you can say wrong and right to an extent. Like, I mean, there's going to be a line or a situation or a way of saying things that's going to hit a lot better than another way. So here's the problem with that line. The problem with that line is there's so many guys that say that line, and most of those guys that say that line are really weird. And so if you say that line, you're going to give off the vibe that you are that person. She's going to put you in a box saying, oh, this is that guy. And she's going to get instantaneously more likely to get creeped out instead of like being like turned on, which is the effect you want, or like giving you your own box. So you either want to take on a box that says that you're the type that is allowed to go and hit on her and give out that vibe and energy. So then she's like, oh, this guy has 100% chance of this not being a weird conversation because this guy has everything put together. This guy's so calm and confident. So now when you're talking to a conversation, she's relaxed because she knows you have it handled. So if you say that line, you're not gonna give off that feeling. You're gonna give off the feeling of the guy that's like, I don't know, tries to, like the old guy tries to pick her up in the grocery store when she's pushing around her cart and shit. Like you want to avoid any line that losers say, because if you say those lines, you're gonna get put in a box saying you're a loser really fast. So you want to take on lines either that cool guys say or they're unique, and then use the right tone. Like so, then like both ways it still hits right. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So never use that again. Never
yeah.
say like an outfit opener or compliment ever again.
Yeah. Well, I'll put it this way.
You just destroyed like my my whole operation.
No, well, that's good because you honestly have some bad habits that are built around the fact that of what you say. So the words you're saying are cueing the habits of you talking a certain way too. So that's the problem. We're cueing your brain to start thinking, like to not follow that path. So every time you do something, so let's say like, I don't know, let's say I knock over this water bottle. The first thing for me to do is by habit and cue, stand up, grab my laptop, grab napkins, move fast. But like, I don't know, that's the cue. What if I could just get rid of the water bottle? What if the water bottle floats? And then it's like, what the fuck do I do when a water bottle floats? I'll probably just be like, the fuck, just stare at it for a while, just try to figure out the situation. And the same way, you want to almost give off that kind of effect where it's like, huh, this is like, so even the way I speak, I purposely talk differently than other people. And I mix it in with like both bro-ish talk and also intelligent talk. Sometimes like I'll try to sneak in big words to not just give off the straight bro vibe. I'll actually sneak in words that make me sound, so I'll give off bro vibe, but I don't like the bro vibe that says that I'm stupid, because a lot of the stigmas, bros are stupid. So then what I do, I switch up and put in big words in there. So it's not just that I'm a cool bro guy that's good with girls. It's also too that I'm smart. So I'm not a dipshit. So now now I'm the bro guy who's also really intelligent and smart, who gives off a lot of, so it's like a lot of value. It's like, this guy's really calm, cool, smart. This guy's a leader. So this guy's like the kind of guy that I bang and I want to like keep around. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so nothing direct, mostly indirect, something like on the fly and kind of, I don't say witty, but kind of situational.
Yeah. Oh shoot. Actually here, I was gonna so I'm doing immersion bootcamp too. I'm gonna add these two guys to the thing. Here, let me send them out a link really fast here. Actually, I'm gonna pause this for a moment. The recording. All right, so how do you get girls with boyfriends? This is the exact answer. First, like, I don't know. I personally don't, because I think that it's I don't know, it makes you feel a little bit evil, but where you're at right now, it might not be a bad thing. Just because it's like, you know, you're trying to like get your you're trying to build confidence, and you also are trying to get experiences. And I don't know, maybe there's a version of this where it's like where you're actually more, where you can like actually be more healthy minded, or it helps you out in the long term. So here, this is how you do it.